single-player games have been reaching a completely different level. The visuals are more cinematic, the stories feel more emotional, and the worlds are so immersive that you can easily lose yourself in them for hours. And with so many incredible recent releases dropping, this honestly feels like one of the best times to be a fan of single-player gaming. So today, I'm bringing you 13 of the best recent single-player games that are absolutely worth your time and money. So let's jump right into it.
Nioh 3. Nioh 3 is the kind of action RPG that doesn't just ask you to survive, it asks you to earn every single victory. Set in a dark, demon-infested version of Japan's Sengoku era, the game throws you into a world where famous warlords, monstrous yokai, and brutal battlefields all collide in one violent nightmare. What makes this entry feel exciting is the freedom it gives you in combat. You can fight head-on with the samurai style, reading enemy attacks, managing your timing, and trading blows like a warrior who refuses to break. Or switch instantly into the faster ninja style, using speed, movement, and pressure to overwhelm anything in your path. The new open field design also makes exploration feel more dangerous and unpredictable, because you never really know when a quiet path will turn into a fight for your life. And that's the beauty of Nioh 3. It's punishing, intense, stylish, and incredibly satisfying once everything clicks. If you love challenging action RPGs with deep combat and dark Japanese fantasy, this one is absolutely worth playing. Crimson Desert.
We have to hurry to support the Marquis.
We have nowhere to turn.
The Duke sent me.
We were expecting you. This way.
Crimson Desert is the kind of open-world adventure that feels built for players who miss that raw sense of discovery. The feeling of riding into a massive land and not knowing what kind of chaos is waiting over the next hill. Set across the war-torn continent of Pywell, the game follows Cliff and the Grey Manes as they fight through a world filled with rival factions, dangerous creatures, ancient ruins, and conflicts that make every journey feel unpredictable. What makes it exciting is how alive everything feels. One moment you're crossing quiet plains or snowy mountains, and the next you're thrown into a brutal fight against soldiers, monsters, or something much bigger than you expected. The combat is flashy, physical, and cinematic, mixing swordplay, grapples, powerful abilities, and huge boss encounters that make every battle feel like a set piece. And even when the story slows down, the world itself keeps pulling you forward with exploration, atmosphere, and pure fantasy spectacle. If you want a massive adventure packed with action, scale, and beautiful chaos, Crimson Desert is definitely worth your attention. Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong feels like the kind of action RPG people were waiting years to finally experience. And the wild part is, it actually lives up to that pressure. Inspired by Journey to the West, the game throws you into a dark, mythological world filled with strange creatures, ancient legends, brutal bosses, and environments that look almost too detailed to be real. You step into the role of the Destined One, wielding that iconic staff, transforming, dodging, striking, and using spells in battles that feel fast, stylish, and dangerously satisfying. What makes it stand out is how every encounter feels like a test, not just of timing, but of patience and control. The bosses are massive, creative, and intimidating, but beating them gives you that pure action game adrenaline rush. And visually, this game is stunning. Misty forests, eerie temples, burning landscapes, and creature designs that feel pulled straight out of Myth. If you want a fresh action RPG with challenge, spectacle, and serious cinematic energy, Black Myth Wukong absolutely deserves a spot on your list. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is one of those RPGs that feels instantly different, like a dark fantasy painting suddenly came to life and decided to break your heart. The world is gorgeous, but there's this constant sadness hanging over everything, because every year the mysterious paintress marks an age, and everyone older than that number simply disappears. That one idea alone gives the entire journey a haunting emotional weight. You're not just going on another heroic adventure, you're joining a desperate expedition of people fighting against time, fate, and a curse that has stolen generations. What makes the game even more special is its combat, blending turn-based strategy with real-time dodges, parries, and attacks, so every battle feels stylish, tense, and personal. The characters also carry real pain, hope, and fear, making their journey feel human instead of just epic. With its stunning art direction, emotional storytelling, beautiful music, and fresh combat system, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 feels like a must-play for anyone who loves RPGs that actually leave a mark. Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is one of those action games that immediately grabs your attention with the visuals, but keeps you playing because the combat feels so clean. It throws you into a ruined, futuristic Earth where beauty and destruction sit side by side. Glowing cityscapes, empty wastelands, broken machines, and monsters waiting around every corner. But the real star here is Eve herself. Every fight feels fast, stylish, and dangerous, like the game is constantly asking you to stay sharp. Dodging at the last second, parrying a brutal attack, landing that perfect combo. It all feels incredibly satisfying when it clicks. What I really like is that Stellar Blade gives you challenge without making the experience feel exhausting. The bosses are intense, the enemy designs are creepy and memorable, and the story has enough mystery and emotion to keep you invested between the big action moments. It's polished, flashy, and surprisingly engaging. If you love action games with slick combat, strong visuals, and that cinematic sci-fi energy, Stellar Blade is absolutely worth your time. Pragmata.
Come on. Damn it. Hey! Get behind me! Move! Ain't shooting to...
I think I can help! Bypassing first and second firewalls, hooking control protocols. Analyzing, converting the interrupt matrix. Visualization complete. Initiating hatch.
Pragmata is one of those sci-fi games that feels strange in the best way. Cold, mysterious, lonely, and somehow emotional at the same time. You're thrown onto a lunar research station far from Earth, where Hugh and the android girl Diana have to survive a facility controlled by a rogue AI and fight their way back home. But what makes the game stand out isn't just the setting, it's the partnership at the center of it. Hugh handles the physical side of combat, dodging, shooting, and staying alive, while Diana hacks into enemy systems, creating openings that turn every fight into a mix of action and strategy. The moon setting gives the whole game this isolated, almost haunting atmosphere, like you're trapped somewhere humanity was never meant to stay. And as the danger grows, the bond between Hugh and Diana becomes the emotional anchor that keeps the journey from feeling like just another shooter. If you want a fresh sci-fi adventure with mystery, style, and heart, Pragmata is absolutely worth playing.
So it's not one of your pot buddies? Then I guess we can just go and blast it. Did they get all those missiles?
Resident Evil Requiem.
Welcome. Dr. Gideon has been expecting you.
You there, Leon?
Yeah.
Resident Evil Requiem is the kind of horror game that feels like Capcom looking back at its darkest history and saying, "We're not done with this nightmare yet." This time, the story pulls you into a terrifying new chapter with Grace Ashcroft, an FBI analyst dragged into a case that feels personal, dangerous, and way bigger than she's ready for. But what makes Requiem so exciting is how it mixes that slow, suffocating survival horror with the return of Leon S. Kennedy, bringing a sharper action edge to the experience. One moment you're carefully exploring dark rooms, counting every bullet, listening for something moving in the walls, and the next you're thrown into pure Resident Evil chaos, where every creature feels aggressive, grotesque, and desperate to tear you apart. The atmosphere is heavy, the tension feels constant, and the connection to the series past gives every reveal extra weight. If you want a horror game that blends fear, mystery, emotion, and classic Resident Evil intensity, Requiem is absolutely worth playing. Horizon Forbidden West.
Yep, another one. I need to get Claire. That was close.
Horizon Forbidden West is the kind of open-world game that makes you stop mid-mission just to stare at the horizon. It takes Aloy's journey into a bigger, more dangerous frontier, where ruined cities are swallowed by nature, tribes fight to survive, and massive machines roam the land like living weapons. But what makes it so addictive isn't just how beautiful it looks, it's how good it feels to play. Every machine encounter becomes its own little strategy puzzle. You're scanning weak points, setting traps, swapping arrows, tearing off armor, and trying to stay alive while some giant mechanical beast charges straight at you. And underneath all that action, Aloy's story still feels personal. She isn't just saving the world because the plot says so, she's carrying the pressure of being the one person everyone expects to have the answer. With its stunning world, emotional character moments, and some of the best creature combat in modern open-world gaming, Horizon Forbidden West is easily worth your time.
Time to finish this!
Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden.
This feels good.
Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden is one of those games that may not scream for attention at first, but once you step into its world, it slowly gets under your skin. You play as Red and Antia, two ghost hunters caught between love, duty, and the dead, and that emotional setup gives the whole journey a heavier weight than your typical action RPG. New Eden is cold, eerie, and full of secrets, haunted forests, abandoned settlements, restless spirits, and people carrying guilt they'd rather bury. The combat can feel tough at first, but once you understand how to switch between Red's physical attacks and Antea's spectral powers, every fight starts to feel more satisfying. What really makes the game special, though, is its choices. You're not just killing monsters, you're deciding the fate of broken people and lost souls, and some decisions genuinely make you pause. Yes, there are slower moments, but they also make the darker encounters hit harder. If you want a moody, emotional RPG with mystery, combat, and atmosphere, Banishers is worth checking out. Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 is the kind of RPG that makes the journey feel unpredictable in the best way possible. You don't just follow a marker from one quest to the next, you step into a dangerous fantasy world where almost anything can happen on the road. One minute you're walking through a quiet forest with your pawns, and the next, a massive griffin crashes into the scene, a cyclops blocks your path, or night falls and suddenly every shadow feels like a threat. That sense of adventure is what makes the game so special. The combat feels wild, physical, and exciting, giving you freedom to fight your way. Climb onto giant monsters, strike weak points, cast powerful spells, or rely on your party to turn chaos into victory. But it's not just about battles. The world is filled with secrets, strange characters, hidden paths, and quests that don't always play out the way you expect. If you want an action RPG that feels alive, risky, and full of discovery, Dragon's Dogma 2 is absolutely worth your time.
My perfectly armed, now to bring you down and taste our fury. I ask your aid.
A Plague Tale Requiem.
Come here! No! Everybody! No! You won't stop us! Not till we see any way out, Sophia! No, not yet.
You ruined everything! You don't account for this!
You're making a mistake! Keep calm, keep steady.
A Plague Tale Requiem is not the kind of game you simply play and forget. It's heavy, beautiful, brutal, and emotional in a way that slowly pulls you into Amicia and Hugo's nightmare until their pain starts feeling personal. This sequel takes everything that made Innocence powerful and makes it bigger, darker, and far more heartbreaking. You're thrown back into a medieval world drowning in disease, fear, violence, and endless waves of rats. But the real horror isn't just the monsters around you. It's watching two siblings desperately trying to protect each other when the whole world seems determined to break them. The stealth is sharper, the combat gives Amicia more options, and Hugo's powers add a terrifying new layer to every encounter. But what really makes Requiem special is its atmosphere. Ruined villages, quiet countrysides, burning streets, and moments of silence that somehow hurt more than the chaos. If you haven't played Innocence yet, start there first, because Requiem hits so much harder when you understand what these two have already survived.
Hugo, let her! Calm down, Hugo! Sophia, please! Stay down, Hugo!
Let me go! Help her!
They keep coming!
Yeah!
Calm down! Remember what your sister told you!
Who the hell are you?
We won't get out of here!
Dead Space Remake. Dead Space Remake is survival horror at its most suffocating, the kind of game where every hallway feels like it's waiting to kill you. You step back into the boots of Isaac Clarke, trapped aboard the USG Ishimura, a mining ship that has gone completely silent for all the wrong reasons. The remake doesn't just make the game look better, it makes the fear feel sharper. Flickering lights, distant screams, metal groaning in the walls, and necromorphs bursting out when you least want them to all create this constant sense of dread. Combat is still brutally satisfying because Dead Space doesn't let you simply shoot enemies and move on. You have to cut them apart limb by limb while they crawl, scream, and keep coming. The improved zero-gravity sections make exploration smoother, and the atmosphere is heavier than ever. It's tense, disgusting, beautiful, and terrifying in all the right ways. If you want a horror game that keeps your nerves on edge from start to finish, Dead Space Remake is a must-play. Mafia Definitive Edition.
Be all right. You're tough as nails. Oh shit! Oh, he's got the money, Tom. I'll catch the bastard.
Mafia Definitive Edition is for anyone who wants a crime story that feels classy, dangerous, and straight out of an old-school gangster film. You start as Tommy Angelo, just a regular cab driver trying to survive the streets of Lost Heaven, but one wrong night pulls him into the world of the Salieri crime family. And from there, his life slowly becomes something he can't escape. What makes this remake so worth playing is how beautifully it brings the 1930s to life. The rainy streets, vintage cars, smoky bars, tailored suits, and tense conversations all create this rich mobster atmosphere that instantly pulls you in. The missions give you everything you'd want from a crime drama. Shootouts, chases, betrayals, heists, and quiet moments where you can feel Tommy questioning the life he chose. It's not the biggest open world, but it doesn't need to be, because the story is focused, cinematic, and constantly moving. If you want a tight, emotional gangster experience with style, tension, and heart, Mafia Definitive Edition is absolutely worth it.
That was when I saw the cost. What it meant to be on the inside. I should have took off there and then. But I couldn't go back to being a nobody.